As far as we go, now we finally played 9 games, and I guess the first Big Ten kind of stat sheet came out. You get a little better idea where you're at. It's hard to compare because some teams have played a bunch of road games, some teams have played hardly none, some teams have played a cupcake schedule, some teams have played a tougher one. So it's harder to evaluate where you are at this time of year. But there are some things that I do know. In 23 days, we've played 9 games, and that's a heck of a run, especially when 6 of them were on the road. But there's been some real positives. Our three-point shooting has been great. I think our defense has, after those first couple games, has really grown, and we're pretty good defensively. We're leading the league in rebound margin. We're averaging 18, 19 assists a game. That's a great stat on an unselfish team. But there are some negatives, too, and the negatives kind of stares straight in your face, and one of them is security of the ball. We're still turning the ball over too much. Seems like an every year subject. Not shooting very well from the free throw line. Not getting there enough. I think that's a serious problem. Only getting there 15, 16 times is not enough. So we're going to look at that hard. And maybe sustaining energy in the second half is a big key for this team. We have not played as well in the second half of some games. Is some of it fatigue? Is some of it lack of substitution? Is some of it poor coaching? Is some of it all of the above? That's what we got to try to figure out here in the next couple of weeks. But I think, Elvin Ellis, we tried to play him a little bit. Now we're going to rest him a little bit more. And he's still, he's got a serious high ankle sprain, I guess, when it happened. And not knowing how long those take, he's definitely not wimping out on us. It's just that it's been an injury that is lingering. He is better. He is able to work out some. But I don't see him full go till Christmas for sure. That doesn't mean he won't play in these games. I think he'll play some. Excuse me. Javon Bass is being cleared to get into more full activity this week. That doesn't mean full practice. It means, full running, cutting, getting some shooting up. He'll be entering, I think, the 6th week on Monday or somewhere in that area. So that's right on line with what we all kind of watch, and he watches, the Kevin Durant watch. I think it was 6 weeks after surgery that he started playing again. The problem is Javon has never played. He's going to have to get some working out in first, and hopefully he'll be able to do that by the end of this week, and maybe sometime next week get in there some. As far as getting anything out of him, unfortunately, that too doesn't look like it'll be till Christmas. I just hope to get his feet wet and, so that he knows what he's in for when he opens up the Big Ten season. Big week for us because of finals. We're off today. We're practicing tomorrow. Kind of playing it by ear Wednesday. A lot of finals Thursday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Hopefully we'll get, good workouts in and good practice time. As far as Oakland, I hit on him a little bit because I watched him a lot today. It's a typical Campy team. He's got a very good team. He plays a brutal schedule too. He's been on the road. He lost a 10-point game to Iowa State. He lost to a good Georgia State team. At home, he's starting to win some games now. But he's played a brutal schedule, a lot of them on the road and against good teams. So they've got a couple players, including a kid Hayes from Sexton, that's playing pretty well. Petros, his big guy, 6'10", fifth-year redshirt, is leading him in scoring and is playing really, really well. And a little kid named Fielder that we recruited a little bit out of Pershing is a point guard that's playing well too. So it's going to be an up-and-down game. They shoot a lot of threes. They get after it. He's always been good defensively, and every year we play pretty good games against each other. I have great respect for him, for his program, and other than that, I think I'll open it up to some questions, except to say that, I found a comment interesting. Everybody's commenting on the football situation and the bowl and who deserves what and what. But I heard one of the talking heads say something that I thought was ironic. I've been a proponent of the playoff for 5-6 years. I thought it would be best. You know, some guys do, some guys don't. But it's almost like the last week, pro football's taken a backseat to college football, and that's un-American. It's almost not supposed to happen. So I think they have accomplished a lot with this football playoff, and I think we're in a great bowl game, and I think we're an eyelash away from being in that group, and I have faith in my counterpart that, we're going to be sitting here maybe a year from now talking about them in that championship series. So this is a good time to be here.
There's never a bad time to beat up on the refs, but with that being said, with all the complaining about the lack of getting to the free throw line, how much of that is the fact, like Notre Dame talked about purposely getting into the paint, making you foul, and you guys are settling for some jump shots? How much is that maybe needing to change, you guys starting to look inside more?
Yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with the refs on that part of it. You're right. There's a lot of reasons to not dislike them. That's American. But one of them isn't, you got to dislike me and maybe our approach. I did think we settled for too many bad shots. That was one of the few games I can honestly look at our team and say, we took bad shots. And, getting the ball inside, I mean, it's still a two-headed, term, is that you got to have people in there that are going to produce. And we are starting to feel more comfortable with both our inside players. We're starting to get BJ back in there a little bit more. The ball's got to go in there, but I think the dribble penetration has to go too. I think Travis and Zell got to start penetrating. When you got Bryn out there playing with one hand, it's hard to penetrate. They play on that hand. There's just been a lot of reasons for it, but we have not done a great job on that. I self-admitted, I gave you 3 or 4 things that I should be crucified for, and that's one of them. We just have not penetrated eenugh. We have not gotten to the line enough. We have not gotten it inside enough. But there has been reasons why also, Trice is not that maybe kind of guard that Tom is. And Bryn, the poor kid, is trying to survive with that hand up until last week. And now I think this week, I think he gets everything off. So this will be encouraging at least to get back where, maybe he can penetrate some, although that's not his strength. Javon Best, it's more his strength. Alvin Ellis, it's more his strength to be a slasher. So as we add those two guys, I think it'll help some too. But I'd say if I look at our team, that might be one of the biggest negatives we've had. We just haven't gotten the line enough. And boy, I sure can't blame the officials on that. I gotta look in the mirror.
Tom, I know you want to win them all, but Notre Dame was kind of a swing game. Could have gone either way. I'm sure you think you could have beat Kansas, but all in all, aren't you where you kind of thought you'd be?
Probably one game off. I didn't know which one it would be. But I think when you play those 2 games and you play good enough in some ways and bad enough in others, you should have won one more. So if I was sitting here 7-2, I'd probably be arguing that I should be 8-1. But I really believe that you got to find a way to win one of those games that you're played good enough, and maybe they didn't play as good either. Notre Dame, I thought, had a couple things that really hurt us. Some we could control, some we couldn't. But we had our chances and didn't get it done. And so, yeah, we're not far off. I guess that's what I was trying to say about our schedule. You played 9 games right now. I think you played a couple against teams that shouldn't beat you. You played 4 against very good competition, a couple of those against great competition, and you played probably 2 or 3 in the middle. And that aren't necessarily great teams, but teams that I think you can learn a lot from. I think we've uncovered a lot of warts, and I think we've uncovered some good things. I think I have a better sense of where we are, except for our injuries, which then you start questioning, are we fatigued? Are we out of shape? Are we tired? Are we run down from the travel? Are we run down from injuries and non-substitutions? That's played a little bit havoc with me when I'm supposed to be dreaming of being in Miami watching the Grapefruit League or whatever that is in baseball. So yeah, I struggle with that a little bit, but at least I know that we've played well enough against some of the best teams in the country where we can be at a certain time. And I'm going to keep building towards that. I think that'll help us a lot. I think Christmas is always critical here at Michigan State. I'm sure most places, but it seems like we've always made some progress. I can't think of a Christmas more critical than this one, just because of the people that we've had out and the youth of this team compared to maybe some that I've had.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about Gavin's improvement this year, but getting some of those guys back, with guys being able to get in the lane, how much can he help? I mean, how much will that help him, I guess, in his development? And how much can that, I guess, help the offense if he continues, the improvement we've seen from him to this point?
Well, I think a lot. I don't know exactly what are we getting out of those two guys now, 14 and 11, or no, we're more than that. I think one's averaging 6.5 rebounds, one 4.5. So 14 and 11, 15 and 11, 13 and 11. I think, that's just the start of that. I think, too, if we penetrate more, they'll rebound better because people have to help out. And, we're doing okay offensive rebounding, but we're not in the top of the pack where we normally are, and I think that'll help. And remember, too, BJ played in a game. He missed 2 or 3 games, and he played in one that he only played a limited amount of minutes. And even the Kansas game, he was still coming back, and that's a key cog in some of that. So the better our inside guys do, though, the better it'll open up for threes from outside. The better, I think, people are going to have to double down. Now they're going to have to come out and maybe we'll, not that they'll double team them, but I just mean dig down, and then we're going to have more driving kick opportunities, because when the ball's passed out, they're going to have to recover. And so there's a lot of things. That's why everybody has to play their part and do their role if you're going to be successful. What I have been impressed with for a team that I thought would be miserable defensively, at least at the start, I thought we'd be poor defensively. I thought we'd be average rebounding team. We're turning into a pretty good defensive team, and those two bigs have had a lot to do with it, because they are covering those ball screens, which college basketball has turned into where you're going to get a ball screen from. And they have covered them pretty well and helped on them pretty well. I've been pleased with that, more pleased than I've even mentioned.
Tom, I know you said you're happy with the free throw shooting, but are you okay with kind of the ratio of 3-pointers versus 2-pointers, or there maybe too many?
No, I think we've taken too many threes probably. To a certain extent, although, I got 3 very good 3-point shooters. I'm not sure we've ever had that. Trice, Forbes, and Valentine are all really good 3-point shooters. And I'd like to get the ball inside and out a little bit more. I think it's a better shot, 1. I think we got a chance to get fouled, 2. And I think 3, we're going to probably take more inside shots then. So our ratio has not been great, but some of it is circumstantial too, and who we're playing and how they're playing us. And we've gotten zone more this year than any year that I can remember. And, and sometimes that makes a difference on where your shots come from. So I guess that's the other good news about our schedule. We've played against different kinds of teams, and again, I don't remember a year when we've been zoned as much